Evening, gents. How's everybody doing? It's Saturday in England. It's about 10 minutes till 8. We had a absolutely beautiful day here. I was going to skip the bit where I lather, but what else am I going to BS? I still tend to concentrate a bit while I shave. Using Crabtree and Evelyn's Nomad today. It's nice stuff. It smells grassy. In a good way. Green, kind of grassy. Doesn't take much, it's starting to whip up. Still really dry. Kevin and I were talking earlier today about the origins of why we decided to start shaving like this. It wasn't so much that I was like incredibly disillusioned by the price of carts or anything. And I didn't have wicked irritation from shaving like that, but it was really uncomfortable. And I never got a shave that I thought was good. And had read on a car forum I used to hang out at, these guys were saying you gotta go to get yourself a brush and do this and do that, and get an old Gillette Super Speed, which I still don't have, and you'll find that your shaves get much better. And I found locally, I found some soap and a brush, Wilkinson sword stuff. It's the stuff Steve used with the slant like a week ago, and quality of the shaves didn't get any better, but there was a whole lot less tugging and pulling and ouchiness associated with it. So I was happy for a while, using the cheap Wilkinson sword brush, which is, I don't want to, if you like it, great, it works well for you, but I have to say one of the worst brushes I could imagine owning. Probably even worse than this fella. For you guys in the States will recognize as the Vanderhagen boar brush that you get for like, $4 or $5. And I also used one of those for a while, kind of bounced back and forth between that and the Wilkinson and couldn't figure out which I liked better. So last year for my birthday, I started looking into wet shaving, probably this time of year, around October, and went, oh, this Badger and Blade thing's pretty cool. Whoa, those razors are pretty, and wow, that's pretty nice, jiggly. This is all well and good. So I was over here in the UK and wanted to order local because I don't like waiting weeks for things to show up, and found a place called Connaught Shaving, a gentleman named Paul up in where the heck is he? Nottingham or Ipswich? Somewhere up that way. Somewhere still considered Suffolk. He has some very reasonably priced things. So I bought some Taylor's sandalwood soap and I packed that brush up to send it to my dad. I tell you, it was a little Volfix boar brush. Well, it said pure bristle. I thought that meant badger. And I am lathering more than normal today, especially for bowl lathering, but I didn't shower. I just did a hot towel with some Trumper skin food on my face, which, phenomenal stuff. And so I got that, and I got the razor I'll be using today. This Muhle R89. It's this head is shared between them and Edwin Jagger. So if you order a Edwin Jagger DE87, 86, 89, whatever the flavor is, that's the head you're going to get. The difference is in the handle. This is similar to the Barley Chrome handle. It's a little bit lighter. If you go with the 89L, which is the one with they call it a lined handle, it's a heavier handle. Never used one, don't know how it shaves comparatively. But I got this and that Taylor soap, and it wasn't very good at lather, but the shaves were pretty good. And then just slowly started picking things up locally. I didn't want to accumulate a whole mess of expensive stuff that might not work. So I'd go down to Tesco and Savers and Lloyd's and Boots, all the local chemists, and looked at what they had available for shaving goodies. Picked up a whole bunch of stuff, like Palmolive stick, Palmolive tube, Ingram's cream, bunch of Boots stuff. Made my way down to a John Lewis and got some. I got my Mitchells from shaving.ie. Looked at a bunch of stuff at John Lewis. Didn't have any money because we were about to have my daughter. So just window shop down there. And then I got better with the lathering other products after I got my first proper badger brush. Because I do have to use a slightly different water strategy when I use a boar brush, just because it always seems to me that I get one, maybe two great passes out of a boar, and then the lather just kind of goes flat. So I got the badger, whipped up some amazing. The Taylor sandalwood is really an intoxicating, woody, spicy, not like bay rum spicy or Old Spice spicy, but a spicy, woody scent. Turns out it makes my face feel like it's on fire when it's mixed right. I didn't know that the first few months because I wasn't putting enough soap on my face. So I have trial and error with a lot of that stuff. This Crabtree Evelyn works well though, as do the rest of the. I got like 7 other creams and 5 soaps that I use. This is Mood Strikes. I've got it narrowed down to stuff that works. Made a lot of improvements to technique, so I have far less irritation. And if I cut myself, it's because I'm just in a hurry or not thinking. I'm going to do 3 today instead of 4. So when I drop, I just drop my first across the grain pass. So I just come in. This across the grain for me is slightly against the grain. Yeah. So that's why I save it to be my second. And on my neck, because it grows this direction, but slightly downhill. That's why I go north to south first. It's just easier. Then I do 2 passes up like this. But today I'll only do 1. And then I try to come, this direction. I still have a lot of trouble right down in here. Kind of Adam's apple's a little pokey outy. I made that up. On this side of my face, the hair grows in so many different directions. I find that if I'm doing 3 passes, this is the best direction to go. It's one of the reasons I'm normally a 4-pass guy. This video is going to be in 2 pieces because camera only does 10 minutes at a time. Sorry about that. What I like about this razor, I guess, above everything else, is it's really well balanced, and these sideways passes are much easier for me to make without pressure. Because if you're, holy crap, that was 10 minutes already. I find that if I'm struggling to maintain balance on my razor, I end up pushing, and that's where I get nicks and cuts and irritation. For the day's events, pretty uneventful. Went down to Ely, the town that I live in has a nice little market. Market days on Thursdays and Saturdays. Ooh. Saturday's more like a flea market that you'd see in the States, or a boot sale here. It's just kind of antiques and knickknacks and doodads out for sale, crafted items. Some produce, always food. And the one on Thursdays is like the farmer's market proper. So we went down to that, wife and daughter and I. Quite warm today. It was in the 80s. I guess it's the upper 20s if you speak metric. I can do the math, but usually only one direction. I mean, it's, 9/5 plus 32 to get, oh well. Got my pizza dough out that I've had in the fridge cold processing for the last 4 or 5 days, and I screwed something up in the recipe. Alright, this one's going to be against the grain, much like, hope you're not offended, Uncle Steve does. I'm going to start on the jawline, and that's this direction. It's always so much fun. Even worse when it's a moving target. I did forget to mention, I'm using a SuperMax Super Platinum blade in the old 89 today. Daughter's getting cranky. It's near bedtime, but they're being kind enough to wait for me to get finished here so I could speak in a reasonable voice. Last night was almost whispery, just because I don't want to wake her up because she sleeps, I don't know, 12 feet from here. And then for that's the north half of my face, I just come straight up. These kind of come down at this sort of direction, so a little bias. I'm still finding stuff. The chin's always fun for me. I know not to use pressure, but it's hard when you're trying to run a razor uphill and around. A little more. Now I have to stretch my jaw skin, or chin skin. She's really mad about something. She turns 2 next month, end of next month, or well, I guess it's this month now since the October. She turns 2 on the 29th, so we're getting to that delightful phase where she's figured out the word no and really hates hearing it. So even if it's like, hey, I want to go play in traffic, and you say no, that fits what happens. Alright, well, you can see I necked myself. The corners of my mouth are kind of weird, and I got these little bumps there. If I come up at the wrong angle, that's what happens. Doesn't hurt, doesn't usually bleed past my rinse. I haven't had to use a styptic pencil in a 2 weeks now or so. That was just boneheaded on my part. I was shaving my soul patch area. I do that number. I just jam my tongue in behind there. And turns out, if your tongue moves while you're doing that, it moves this skin side to side. I have a big gash right there. And that took forever to stop bleeding. That was probably the worst cut I've had. And I got one that was pretty, I would almost say pretty legendary. First time I used my slant, I didn't realize the like edges of the blade stuck out so far. And got myself right here. It's fairly commonplace for me to cut myself. It's not baby butt smooth, but it's Saturday night. I don't have to impress anybody. I don't like chasing that because irritation is just silly to give yourself. I can live with that. Good decent shave. Where's my towel? There's a towel I use for my not a towel for prep. And aftershave, because it is Saturday, I'm not going anywhere. It's one of my guilty pleasures. I love Brut. Now, if you folks in the States, you're not familiar with looking on B&B, if you don't have an aftershave acquisition problem, this is the European formula of Brut. It smells like you remember it on your grandfather. Just nice. Another difference between the US and the Euro version, aside from the nice plastic bottle and the slight difference in scent, is the American version has a little hint of menthol in it, if you're into that kind of thing. If I'm using something mentholated, I really want my face to be like, holy crap, that's cold. I'm just Nivea Sensitive Aftershave Balm. And, you know, Steve and Kevin, say whatever you want about age. I just do this because it makes the circles, the bags go away, and, well, a little bit of vanity never hurt anyone. So, yeah, I suppose that just about wraps things up. Thanks for watching. Hope everybody had a great time. Let's see how much time I have left on the camera. I'll hold up a few of these other razors quick, I guess. I have this little Merkur open comb fella. I can never remember what number it is. I want to say it's an 11C. No, mild, nice. Works better with the handle off of my Muhle on it. You've seen the slim. That's what I used last night. I've got the short version of the slant, like Steve has. Much shorter handle. And I've got this little fella, little travel tech, I picked up in a little travel pouch kit thing. Came with a comb and a small mirror and all that good stuff. I love good cream. All that left. Down the drain she goes. Anyways, gents, I hope the rest of your day, morning, afternoon, evening, middle of the freaking night goes well. And till next